Okay, as promised, I'm going to start on these Birch canes, using these Birch cane blanks. I'm going to start on the smallest one first. The big end is roughly 1.1 inch, and the small end is about 7/8. From what the guy I'm doing this for told me, he wants the bottom for about 3 inches or so to be small enough, like 3/4 inch, so if people need to cut their canes off and make them shorter, they can put the stopper back on without having to do any carving. So I'm going to make about this much of it here, 3/4 inch, and then we'll come up from there. I don't want to take any more material off of this than I have to because it's so small. When we get to these big boys, that'll be a little different. I'll leave some meat on them in various places. It just depends. I will do my best to take at least one of them to fruition. I'm not gonna, I don't have purchased handles for these, and that's what he puts on here. I may come up with one stout handle on my own. We'll see. That's still something I'm running around in my head. So let's get to the lathe and see what we can do with these cane blanks. Okay, I'm gonna start on this end. I wish this was a little straighter. Do a peeling cut here. This is pretty small already, so I don't want to get too carried away with it. I just want to give it a little character. Billy, what in the world are you doing? I don't have a clue, honestly. I'm flying by the seat of my britches. I told you, I've never done these before. I don't know what they're supposed to look like. I don't know what he wants. I just know he asked me to do something with them using my artistic style or flair, whatever that is. But I've got an idea of what I want to do. Guess who forgot to move the camera when he moved past about right here? You probably didn't see any of this work at all, but it's more of the same of this. So what I'm going to do, I'm making index marks, so there's 12. If I divide that by 4, I'll do every third one. That sounds good. Y'all are like, Billy, all this math stuff, and what in gracious name or gracious sakes are you doing? What in the name of all that's holy are you doing there, boy? I'm not trying to be exact here. I needed a stiff but bendable piece of plastic to do what I'm trying to do. So up here, I've got these 3 marks. Let me zoom you in and get you a little closer so you can see what it is I'm doing. Okay, so you can see what it is I'm trying to do. That may help some. I've got these 3 red marks. I'm going to carry these 3 red marks all the way down this cane. I'll show you why, and you'll understand why here in just a minute. I divided the 38 by an even number. I believe it was 8, and it gave me 4.75. So every 4 3/4 inches, I'm going to make this divider mark like I did here. And then I'm going to line these marks up with these original marks. Why am I doing all that? Well, that's where it gets weird or funky. I'm going to lay spirals out on this thing, and I'm going to do it without using any math other than what I've just used. I need this flexible piece of plastic, and this long tie strap will do just fine. So I'm going to lay this up here, and I'm going to make a mark and connect this red mark to this next mark that I made one sequence down. That gives me my twist. And I'm going to use my red marker. This doesn't have to be exact. I'm going to use my red marker because I'm gonna cut all those out. Now I'll come to the next one. And do this. And do the same thing. The trick is keeping your fingers out. That knot didn't help any. Now I'm going to connect this one to this next sequence down. See what I'm doing? And this one to this one. It's not rocket science, and I didn't have anybody show me how to do this. This is just something I thought up. I have seen people draw spirals using an index system before, but I don't remember how they did it. I suppose it could be this method, I don't know. Alright, this first one is going to be pretty simple because I'm just going to keep marching down with my 4 3/4 inch marks. You could come up with a way to be more precise on this. Is it necessary to be more precise? I don't think so, but that's me. I mean, there's not going to be anything at all luxurious about this cane. I mean, it's a birch cane. I'm not saying it's going to be ugly by any stretch. I'm just saying you don't have to beat yourself up over lines, because when it's all said and done, nobody's really going to notice whether or not these were perfect. And again, this is a relatively math-free method. This diameter doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about diameter and all of that and figuring degrees and angles, and just use your indexing system, figure out how many stops you have. Guess who forgot to zoom out so you could see what he was doing? Once I had these done, I moved the tool rest down to here and did these two. And then I made my red marks the same way I did up here. Then I moved my tool rest down and I did these three. And I'm going to make my marks the same way, and I'll show you. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to stop right here. I'm not going to go any further because this needs to be roughly 3/4 of an inch for about this distance. So if they need to shorten this cane, they can do that. So I'm going to continue this and go to this mark. So put my plastic up here. And this is where I was saying this doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it close, because when you're done, I don't think anybody's going to see it. Alright, I'll continue this one to here. These are just reference marks to give you an idea of where to cut. You'll have to be your own judge as to how deep you want to go. I'm going to have to be my own judge as to how deep I want to go. Okay, got that done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make me a red mark all the way around here, because that's my stopping place. And I will cut a groove with my rotary tool. What I'm going to do, I don't know that it's necessary, but I'm going to do it anyway, so that this doesn't roll up, on me while I'm carving, is I'm going to lock this down using my indexing pin, and then what I will do is I will do as much as I can up in here, and then I'll roll it and continue and do some more. I wasn't recording, Dad blast it. I get excited and carried away and forget what I was doing or supposed to be doing. What you see right here, and I'll show you a close-up of it later, is a series of spirals that I cut using the same tool I tried to use last time, this crown spiraling tool. And then I took this pick wrapped with some sandpaper and I sanded all of these nice and smooth. So I've got some really nice spiraling going on right here. I was able to do that because I got this pretty much concentric, which I discovered in the last video that it had to be. I just wanted to use it on this cane if I could. I had this one little spot that I could use it, so I did. Sorry I got carried away and didn't include y'all in what I was doing, because sometimes I'm just an idiot. I'm going to use this on high, football shaped carbide burr. I bought a whole set in various shapes off of Amazon. Okay, it's spiraled. All the grooves are cut. I don't think I missed anything. They're all roughly the same depth. Let's start with 150, sand this up. I may go to 80 down here. Where's Nick when you need him? I'm not going to make you watch it all, but unfortunately there's an awful lot of this. I'm going to use antique oil finish on these, at least this one. I said I was going to do this off the lathe, but I'm not. I think 2 coats is enough. I think that's going to work just fine. After this is dry to the touch, I'll take it off the lathe and put the next blank on and we'll go. Okay, this one's more cattywampus than the other one was by quite a bit. See what I mean? So I'm not going to do a lot of turning on this one. I'm just going to do some carving. I am going to turn each end, but that's about it. I'm just knocking off some of the high spots. I'm gonna do this one just a little different. I'm not gonna do it all the way up and down. Like I said, I'm gonna do this one just a little different. I've sanded this up to 150. I've done all the carving on it that I'm going to. That's coat number one. It's probably only going to take two like the last one did. For this kind of work, it's sanded pretty fine. I only sanded it to 150. Taking it any higher than that, 220 or whatnot, just wouldn't really matter. So I'll put another coat on it tomorrow and we'll do something else. Time to put the final coat on this stick. Okay, cane number two done. This one is quite a bit straighter. Got a little bit of a crook right up in here, and that's okay. So I'm going to start down here. I'm gonna take the grinder after these, and then I'll turn this down here with the skew. That'll help. Put my dust mask on. That's all the rough shaping I'm gonna do to this. I like it. I'm going to sand it up some and take this down to 1 inch. Right in here, I'm going to try the texturing tool. Okay, that ain't bad. So I'll change the angle. It'll look better when it's sanded up. I should have left it spiral. I think this birch is just too soft for this. Well, that's just a chopped up mess. But I'm learning what it does and what it don't. Ain't perfect, ain't pretty, but it's hand carved, and I ain't no expert at this. Time for sanding. I'll be at this for several hours, and I'll show you a little bit of what I'm gonna do here. When it's ready for finish, I'll come back. And here's another one done. Put the little end cap on. And there you go. A little bit of custom detail down here, but the rest of it is just turned and sanded. Nothing too fancy. Yep, I changed my mind. Initially, I was going to leave this middle blank, but I had an idea to merge these together. Okay, the carving is done. What are you going to do there, Billy? That'll do. Okay, all sanded up. All right, get my first coat of oil on here. I'll leave this sit overnight and I'll come back in the morning, put one more coat on it, leave it sit all day and overnight, and this one will be done. Finish on this dry. That was not too bad. It's off a little. Okay, let's see what we can do with this last one. I meant to knock all these knots off before I got started. I missed a couple. Okay, let's do it like this. That's the easy way to do it. Now we can get to business. Okay, by the time I finish sanding, that'll work. Speaking of sanding, it's that time. Alright, rough sanding is done. I laid out my marks at 4 3/4 like before. I want to try something a little different this time. So with this one, I'm just going to put 3 long spirals in. Okay, we'll let that set and dry overnight, and I'll come back tomorrow and put another coat on, and we'll put however many coats on it we need. Okay, that's it. Last one is done. Final coat of finish on it. Still not completely dry, but dry enough. Now, like I said, he asked me to put some embellishment on 6 canes. I've done that. I don't need a cane, but that may change in the future. And I was asked to show I've never made a cane, but I was asked to show how I would make a cane if I were to make one. Well, this is the start. Putting the rubber thing on the end, that's another thing. That's easy. One of the tricky parts is, what about up here, the handle? Well, I don't do that. And he orders the parts from a particular company, and I'm gonna let him take care of that and getting those mounted before he gives them away. However, I'm gonna keep one of these cane bodies myself because, like I said, I don't have the need for one, but I may one day. Okay, so here's 5 cane bodies done. I'll put stills up, or a still. I'll try to get a good picture of these and put them up. But look, 5 of the 6 done. Well, Billy, what happened to number 6? Well, that one I'm keeping for myself. And so my next video will be me doing that cane from start to finish. So these are done. I can get them to the guy that requested me to do the work. Finally glad to get them out of the shop. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Y'all come back and see us. Please check out my sponsors. If you wish to help the Messy Studio, you've heard it all before. Links are in the description below. My Amazon affiliate link, etc. I appreciate it once again. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, share. Y'all come back and see us. And remember, live, laugh, and love.